Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and show you some new techniques, and also to keep those of you that have been painting a while engaged. And today we're going to be using luster. I want to show you how you can use luster to kind of jazz up your painting. What I did has kind of a watercolor look to it, which is sort of what I wanted. I wanted my painting to be whimsical, and so I decided that since luster is not easy to control by any means, I would use luster for my flowers and for the colors on my butterfly so they shine. And then I'm going to use regular paint to accentuate everything. This is the piece that I've done that I'm going to be imitating. Now, if you tilt it, you can kind of see the luster part of it really shines. And the other part of it, I wanted it to look more like watercolor. So this is 2 coats on here. I would only do 1 coat in the future. You can see on this butterfly, if we get closer, you can see that it's luster, and you see the dots on him. The reason that I'm using regular paint and the black outline of him and this guy, the reason I'm using regular paint is because over luster, I think it's easier to see. The centers of the flowers are regular paint. This one has regular paint. The little dots here are regular paint. Little dots at the end there are regular paint. So I think mixing the two works very well to give you kind of a whimsical look, something you didn't expect. Now, a couple things. I didn't resist this. So my flower here is dull. See, it doesn't shine like the others. See how the others shine? But that one, only the bottom part shines. So I didn't resist, and I wasn't very careful with the going over the paint with, going over the luster with my regular paint. So you do need to resist, and I will be doing that so that those of you that haven't never resisted luster will see how. If you're using luster, first of all, I'm doing a large tile. This is an 8 by 10. And you see I drew on it, and you're going, you're going to use luster. Why did you draw on it? Well, I drew on it with a China marker, a China pencil. Now, mine is a Stabilo. It's this one here. And it's a little easier to draw with. Here, I'll show you on this tile. See, it's real easy to draw lightly with. You don't hardly have to touch it to get it to draw. The ones that have the red base here, I have one right here. These are old ones that I had from previous, and these are the Stabilos too. But they're a little harder, lead on them. And I found that when I tried to draw on something, I really couldn't see it as well. Plus, I had trouble occasionally with it firing out. So this one fired out for me. I used it on the piece I showed you, this, to outline all my flowers and everything, and it fired out beautifully. I keep my lusters, my new ones from Nancy, and they look like this. These are Bergman lusters, and she's on the internet, and you can get them. And I keep them in the fridge, and I keep them in a little box in my fridge because she says that keeps them fresher. It does, I think. I really don't know. I'll take her word for it. Another suggestion she made was to take a small tile, paint it with the luster, fire it, and put it on the top so you know exactly what the color is going to be. And that's very helpful. My older lusters, no, I don't keep them in the fridge. Why? Because they're gummy, or not gummy, but they're older and they're a little more sluggish. So occasionally I will add I will put them in a little dish and add a little drop of luster essence with them, just to kind of thin them out a little bit. But I find that if I put them in the fridge and then take them out, I took these out like yesterday so that they would be easy to work with. It takes them a longer time to warm up and be usable. So I think that that's important to keep in mind. And that just works better for me. I'm not using mother of pearl. I did on my first piece, and the mother of pearl really didn't do anything for the piece. I thought it would, it didn't. So I'm not using mother of pearl, but I'm using all my other colored lusters. Now, it's important that you know that when it comes to brushes for lusters, there are 3 that you have to keep separate from others. One is the mother of pearl brush. You can't go and mix it in other lusters, you know, dip in other lusters. The yellow brush and the light pink. And I think that's probably true. Although I use Awesome to clean my brushes a lot, and I've never had a problem, but I never had this real light yellow. This is what my yellow looks like right now. And so I really want to keep it as vibrant as it is. So I will take Nancy's word for it, and I will use a separate brush for it. All the other colors, you can use the same brush. Well, let me put it this way. You can use a brush, clean it, and then put it in the next color, and then clean it, and then put it in the next color. So what I do, before I even start working, I take as much of the China painting stuff off my table workspace as possible. I have brushes, all various sizes, that I keep in a separate container, because you don't want these brushes to have ever touched China paint or China painting oils with China painting in them. So regular paint. So I keep them separate. They were all brand new brushes when I got them. And I keep them in here. And I have a drawer in a chest here in my room, my study. And I put all my luster stuff together. So I have my brushes in there. I don't have my lusters in there, but I have all my essences, my oils that I can use. So you can use luster essence, you can use lavender oil, you can use Awesome, you can use Terpenoid Natural that has not been used for China painting with your lusters. I put everything away, and then I get a jar out and I put all my brushes in that jar that can be used for everything. And for my brushes that have to be special, I take my special yellow brushes, and I set them separately so that I don't mix them. It's just a tip, okay? I also have here these pointed Q-tips. If you need to shape something, you can do it by putting a Q-tip in luster essence and then kind of making sure that some of the essence is out so it doesn't run, and clean it up. I find just using spit on a little end of this also works very well, as long as it's fresh and it hasn't set for a while. The other thing I do is I use a brown paper bag, and I use tissue paper. Now, this was something I learned at the class. And so the tissue paper that I have is white tissue paper. Don't use colored tissue paper. You'll run into a problem with the color. And I do it shiny side out. So there's a shiny side. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see and there's a not shiny side. I do it shiny side out. I've used this before, but I don't think that'll be a problem because this whole side I didn't use. And then I take and I put the paper bag down first. I fold this in half so the fold's facing me, and I put that down next to use it to clean my brushes. And it does help take some of the luster out of the brush before you clean it. So I have found that works pretty well. So now the other thing I do before I get started on this tile is, you notice I've drawn it out. I have these little circles. I want it to be very whimsical. So I held my pencil way back here and drew, because I didn't want it to be perfect. And then I went through, and can you see the X's? I put X's on some of the leaves that I want to put green on. I put this has an O or a T kind of for the color I want to use there. So I decided, this is going to be yellow. This one's going to be yellow. That one's going to be yellow. These are going to be more blue down in here. So I tried to decide where I wanted my colors to be. Now, I'm not using any pearlized colors this time. It's just straight colors from the luster. If you're using pearlized, you get a nice effect, but you kind of have to do little C's while you're drawing it. And there's not enough here to even worry about all of that. So that's what I'm doing. So the first fire will be luster. Why? You cannot, although I haven't tried it, because, you know, everybody says you can't do something and you try it and you can, but you're not supposed to be able to use to paint with regular paint and then put luster over it. I think the reason probably is that it dulls the luster, and luster doesn't look like anything except dull. And I kind of got that effect with this. So right there you see on that flower, I got the background paint over it by mistake, and it just kind of dulled it. See how down below it kind of shines, and here and there, over to this is my butterfly. See how it shines? But this doesn't shine, and I think, oh, and neither does this one up here. I think I got the paint over it, and that's what happens. So you want to put your luster on first. You can put your paint on next, but I'm going to resist in between because I really want this to be nice. I'm going to frame it and put it in my booth. I'm going to start with my yellow. I'm going to unscrew the top, and I'm going to set it upside down. For a while I was setting it face down, but if you set it upside down, you don't get it on everything. And I'm just going to take my brush now. My brush was a little bit hard, so I did put it in some Turpenoid Natural. This is what my Turpenoid Natural looks like. One of the things I do with it is I write on it lusters only, so that I don't accidentally use it for regular painting, because I use it for regular painting. And I use the Turpenoid Natural to soften this little brush, and then I'm going to take the little brush and I'm going to begin painting the things that I want to have little. Okay, now luster dries very quickly. Hang on here. Okay. And you can't paint like you normally do. I know I am because I've got a tiny brush. It's one thing I learned from doing the, when we did the hummingbirds, was that the luster dries very quickly and you really can't shape it. So you have to be very quick with it. Try not to make it too thick because it will chip off. And I'm putting it on this flower where I think I would have more of a light hitting it. I'm going to put orange on the other part. We'll see if they blend. They don't blend. I'm hoping if it sets up enough, it won't matter. And then over here, I want a little of the yellow. I'm not going into the center. I'm going to do the center with regular paint. So I don't really need to go into the center here. And what else did I want yellow? Oh, see, you forget because you get so wrapped up in this. So I'm going to, I want this yellow. This is my butterfly now. And this yellow. I think I'll go yellow here and here too. But I don't want it to be there. Okay. And, oh, this was yellow. And this is yellow. Now, if you're going to put black over the wings at the end, that's fine. You can paint it all yellow and then the black will go right over it. So you don't need to do anything fancy there. And then I think I want this part up here to be yellow. And now I'm just looking, where else would I like a little yellow? Maybe the center of this rose could be yellow. And maybe this guy here could be yellow. Okay. And I think I need one more yellow. Let's make the center of this flower yellow. How's that? I don't want any of the orbs to be yellow, so I'm not going to do them. So I'm going to close this up now. I'm done. And the way you clean your brush is you take and you wipe it back and forth like this on the paper. And then I'm just going to dip it in Turpenoid Natural and wipe it again. I'll tilt it up so you can see until it's clear. There, see, it's clear. And then it's done. Okay, and I'm going to put that away off to the side with my yellow brushes because I don't want those brushes to mix with anything else. Okay. Now the next color I'm going to use is orange. I'm trying to go from light to dark. It's hard because the colors I have, here I'll show you. these are the colors I have to use. I want really bright colors. And I'm thinking light to dark is probably the orange next, and then maybe the blues, and then maybe the green, and then the purple and the pink. So that's the order I'm going to go in. Now, I do have some very small brushes here that I can use. This is a nice size, and I'm going to open my orange. Let me tilt you back. I'm going to open my orange, and I'm just going to paint that on. And I'm going to paint it here. I wanted this to be orange now. Do you notice? It's not orange. And that's because lusters frequently do not come in the color you think they are. I'm going to have to put a little essence on my brush, I think, because this seems like it's dried up a little. Just put a little essence on my brush so I can move this a little easier. I don't want it to be gloppy. I'm painting flat, by the way. You can put a drop of essence in your luster if it gets kind of gummy or kind of messed up. I'm going to take a brush I haven't used yet that's clean, and I'm just going to open my essence, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this in here and just wipe it on the side. A little essence and wipe it on the side. And hopefully that will help. Okay. Oh, wrong lid here. And then I'm going to take my brush and just mix it a little. Okay. Wipe it off and go back. And these are going to be orange here. So I'm going to go from here to here. Oh yeah, much better. Here to here. Okay. And this is going to be orange. I want them to have kind of a ruffly edge, so I'm being very careful. Now you have to decide what kind of brushes you want to get. Don't get watercolor brushes. Why not? Watercolor brushes tend to soak up the luster, and you really don't want that. Oh, we're back to having it be a little thick, so I'm going to try to... I'm trying to do the shape of the flower so that it comes out the way I want it to. And that's all orange. Anything else I wanted orange? I don't see anything else that I wanted orange. Okay, so I'm going to cover it up. Oh, I wanted this flower over here to have some orange on it. I'm wiping the orange on the side of the bottle so it doesn't come out quite as thick. Now, some places I'm going over the yellow. I don't know what that will do. We'll find out when I fire it. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to make the center of this orange. I think that might be kind of pretty. I'm just going to tap it in. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to clean my brush by just going back and forth. I'm going to close my bottle, dip it in a little Turpenoid Natural, go back and forth. And I'm probably not going to use this brush for another color because I really don't want to take a chance of having a problem. But you see how clean it's getting? There, it's pretty clean. Okay, the orange is done, so I'll set that aside. Now let's start with, how about, let's do Well, I'm going to do a lot of green. Let's do the turquoise. I like the this is the turquoise. I'm going to open up my turquoise. And I am going to look for a different brush. I really like the brush I'm using. I think I'm just going to stick with the brush I'm using. So I'm just going to take a little of the essence, put it on the brush, and wipe that too. Yeah, it's pretty clean. So I think I'm okay. I could use Awesome as well. Okay, so here's the turquoise, and I'm just dipping into it, wiping it on the thing, and I'm going to do the butterfly here. Now you see, it's not turquoise. That's the beauty of this. You never know what colors you're really going to get because they come out funny. They come out like a red or a... Okay. This is turquoise. I was going to do these in blue. I might do half the leaves in turquoise. Let's see, just a few here and there. Just a couple. Okay. Okay, there aren't many turquoise flowers in nature. This one might be pretty up here. This is like a tulipy flower. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. I think that's the end of the turquoise I was going to use. So I'm going to close up my turquoise. I'm going to wipe it like I did before. Wipe it real well. See, it's clear. Okay. And I can put the turquoise away. And I think I'm going to do the green. I think I have peacock, and I don't know that I want to use the peacock now. And I have a blue-green, and I'm not really sure I'm going to use the blue-green. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to use the blue, though. So this is, what did I say this is? This is green. So the green I'm using on some of my leaves, not all of my leaves. Or half the leaf, and then the other half of the leaf I might do with a regular paint. There we go. That's a green. This is what the green will look like. It's kind of a dark green. I'm going to tilt this a little just to make sure it runs so I don't get puddles. Oh, I did want this one done. Okay, and maybe every other one here would be pretty. I don't have one there, but that doesn't mean I can't create one and do one at the top. Okay. Okay, whoops. So now I'm gonna clean my brush, and cover up my green that I have here. Now I would like to use blue-green for these orbs. Yeah, I think blue-green would be nice. So I'm going to take my orbs and I'm just going to paint them in blue-green. I've got a couple of them. This one's kind of drippy. Okay. Okay, now not all of them are exactly the way I want them. So a couple of them have a little bit of stuff sticking out. I'm going to wet the Q-tip and just correct that. Okay, and a little here, and a little here. Oops. And a little here, and a little here. There we go. Okay, put the lid back on. I'm going to clean my brush again. Well, that's pretty clean, pretty quick, isn't it? Okay, now let's go into the blue. On these flowers, I used a lot of the blue on my piece that I did in class, so I don't have a lot of blue left, but I have enough just to do a couple little flowers here. And the only thing you want to do is make sure that it's not getting too thick. Like here, it might be getting thick, and then you just sort of keep touching it. And that should help it. This guy's kind of thick. Let's pull him down. Okay. This guy, kind of thick. There we go. And here, and here. Any other blue? I might want to make this guy, half of him blue. Let's do that. There. Okay. Oh, purple, purple. I got that butterfly done. That butterfly's done. This one needs purple. Okay. Put your blue cap back on. Now, if I were to use the Awesome, it actually wipes it cleaner. So if you want to use Awesome, you can. This is purple. And I'm going to use the purple on my, what look like little irises there. Okay. I found if you use the right kind of brush, oops, too much on there, you pretty much get it to look like you want it to. I just want to make sure I go up. Okay, and I want this guy to have a little top. And then I'm going to do this guy over here in purple. I'm a little close to my paint, and that is causing a few problems for me, so make sure your paint doesn't splatter. Take some time. If it does splatter, get it off your piece, or wipe it backwards so it splatters in a different direction. I've noticed that I'm having issues with that. Oops, I need a little more here. Okay. And the last color we're going to use is pink, a dark pink. So I will, and then I'll do some Awesome on here because that seems to, yeah, that works very well. And I'm going to take my dark pink. This is the color of the dark pink now. A lot of the flowers that I did on the first piece, on this piece, this is the dark pink, this is the yellow, and this is the blue. I didn't do a lot of other colors on there because I was just experimenting to see what would happen. Okay, so this is the dark pink now. I want these to look like what they call now boho roses. So I'm taking it around just the edge. You notice I haven't used any mother of pearl. Sometimes mixing mother of pearl with other colors can cause a problem, and I don't really want that, so I'm trying to avoid it. Now here I'm just going to do the same thing. This is another rose. And I'm just going around the outside to make it look like a rose. This is called a boho rose. It's a circular rose. You've seen them. I know you have. They're very popular, and they're very easy to do. But you have to be able to get things kind of spot on. That's a yellow there, so I'm trying not to mix the two. Okay, so I think I have just about all the colors I want on here. The body of the butterfly, I was going to make this body black, but I'll make it red and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to clean that brush. You have to clean your brushes as soon as possible. They gum up really, really bad. And you've seen I've done some with Awesome, and I've done some with Terpenoid Natural. I kind of like the Awesome because I think it works a little better. And now you're going to look, and if there's anything you really want to change, get a little spit and just start going at it and making any changes you want to make. If there's colors running together you didn't want to have run together, if the end of the flower doesn't look exactly the way you wanted it to, like here, you could do that. I'm pretty happy with everything. I wouldn't mind a little separation right here. There we go. That might be interesting. Okay. Now you're going to have to let it set. It will dry, and it will dry really, really hard. So if you're going to take something off, do it now. This is all I'm doing this time. I will fire this at 017. So put it in on high because that's the way my kiln works. I only have one setting. Put it in on high, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to only leave it in like 2 minutes less. That will work for me, and that will fire my luster, and it won't bubble off for me unless it's really, really thick. So look at your luster, like my orange. Remember, it was kind of thick. So if your luster's thick, you may have a problem with it. After you fire it and the luster is shiny, then you're going to take and use a tissue with water on it and just wipe over the whole piece. That will take any dust, any luster, and everything, kind of get all the dust and anything that from the kiln off. So you need to do that first. Paper towel and water, and just go over the whole piece, okay? When it comes out of the kiln, and after you've cooled it, of course. Then you're going to take, and before you put the red resist on, you're going to take a paper towel with turpentine, and it has to be turpentine. It can't be terpenoid. It can't be mineral spirits. It has to be turpentine. And you're going to wipe it all with turpentine, and then we're going to put the red resist on, and then we'll paint the background. I think it'll turn out to be kind of fun. Then pick up those brushes, keep painting, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye-bye.